What is the first thing you do in the morning?
The first thing I do in the morning is, on a good morning, is I try to wake up and meditate. I'm a man of faith and prayer, so I always try to take that time and do that. More recently, I've been working with a trainer, and so I'm trying to now engage into understanding that my physical health is connected to my mental health, and so I'm mostly grappling with getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning now, right? And really taking that step into making this journey really a more holistic approach. So
My name is Kevin Hines. I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. I believed that I had to die, but I lived. Now I help people be here tomorrow.
Living or dead, who would you most like to have dinner with?
Michael Jackson.
When and where were you the happiest?
When and where I was the happiest? I would say with my daughter being born and her having life now, being able to see it. Yeah. So.
Who are the civil rights leaders that you look up to?
I really, admire a lot of our, trailblazers that's been in the civil rights movement. But I think recognizably, Dr. King comes to mind, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. These are leaders that I think I really have studied their philosophy and their leadership in ways that I think has been able to, make a difference in our country. I know there's so many more that I can mention, but those few that will come across. So.
Why do you care so much about changing the path, particularly for young black men and women?
I believe that it's because I can see myself right into a lot of the young people, men. I have a sister. My mother's a black woman. My grandmother. I think more particularly is I realized that the matriarchs of our families, how young men are connected to the matriarchs, and the way that I felt about my mother and my father, my siblings. I know that beyond that is also the identity of being a young black man and how to navigate beyond that support, but really seeing myself in them, right? And so a lot of that I think is, I made so many different mistakes early on. I made a lot of careless decisions. And so providing the mental health support that we do really allows them to make better decisions. Trauma does affect the way that you feel, the way that you see things, the way that you interact. And so the work that we do really will allow people to become better people just at the core, right? Not necessarily getting mental health support. Maybe they're just going to become a better listener, a better caregiver, a better husband, a better, associate, somebody at work, somebody, and so I'm excited that, that's what we give off beyond getting someone to a therapist, is that they will become better men and better people.
Can you tell me a story, however long or short, about someone that you know who has been heavily impacted by the Confess Project in a positive way?
Yeah, it was a gentleman at an institution back home at a college that we worked with, and we had done some workshops with a particular barber shop that we worked with back home in Little Rock, Goodfellas Barbershop rather, and this gentleman had been to a few of the training sessions. A little did we know that when he had came, or he was coming there to just get a haircut most of the time, and was always will get caught up in the midst of being there at the training, because we do our trainings during the midst of an operational time in a barbershop, and not knowing that he was struggling obviously from some loss that he had, lost his mother early on, very turbulent relationship with his father, wasn't doing well in school, was really on the verge of really wanting to give up. And after being there, being in that space, seeing black men really talk about mental health, talk about what does it look like to be free, what does it look like to be their best self, and really I believe that inspired him because he said he's never seen anybody actually open up and be so vulnerable, and so that led that gentleman to going into care, actually going into at the time a clinical trial that led him into getting therapy, get on medication, has really been a champion. And so what if we hadn't have been at that barbershop? right? Imagine what we know now as people losing hope, not, maybe want to take their life by suicide or maybe not want to exist anymore. That gentleman had an opportunity because we were there to lead him on the path of healing. And so I'm excited that we were also intentional about working with providers, working with partners to get him into treatment that was needed. And so that's a story in itself that I recognize can happen all over America. There's so many people at that turning point that just need someone to help them to get to the other side so they can be their best self.
If this video helped you, inspired you, or you think it could help someone you know, please take a second to share this video. Your share could save a life. And whatever you do, fight to be well. Be here tomorrow.